All right, welcome to the Game Time TBA podcast. I'm your host, Brian Graham. Got Ethan Tolbert with us tonight. Troy is not with us because he just had the birth of his newborn daughter. So congratulations, Troy
Wow.
and
Oh yeah.
Savannah.
Awesome.
Yep, breaking news for you. Yeah, so congrats to them. But anyways, we're gonna get into it. Got an episode about this is going to be about Alabama, South Carolina, and then we're going to post another one about all the other games, LSU, Brian Kelly,
Okay.
everything in the next episode. So y'all check that out. But we're going to dig into Alabama versus South Carolina. Alabama escapes narrowly. One of those games that we talked about, kind of going into the week. They got that huge stretch of 4 games. At the beginning of the season, didn't know if we were going to make it through that, but Alabama ranked win. Going into this one, we're not surprised that it was close. Knew it was going to be gritty. Probably didn't look the way I thought it was going to look. But nonetheless, Alabama escaped with the victory. What's your overarching thoughts on it, man?
Yeah, man. Classic trap game, if you will. Everybody's kind of saying it going up into that. Like you said, tough stretch you've already gone through. So easy to look over a South Carolina team that doesn't look good on paper, but they're gritty. They're tough. They're stingy. You knew they were going to be. They were last year, and kind of playing with like, what do we have to lose other than potentially ruin the Alabama season, which they played that way. I knew it was going to be tough. I thought that Alabama would maybe get a handle on it later on. She did eventually, but I thought it would get more comfortable at some point. But it was a nail biter to the end.
Yeah,
But I couldn't say I was totally surprised, but they were tougher through and through than I thought they were going to be.
yeah, and I don't know if anyone listens to Josh Pate's college football show. Something he always says
Mm-mm.
is, teams with their backs against the wall, you always got to look out for them. So, like
Scary. Yeah,
Florida
they could be
versus
scary.
Texas.
Yeah.
Obviously, eventually Billy Napier got fired anyways, but when a team's got their back
Mm-hmm.
against the wall, they're going to give all they've got, especially when a coach has his back up against the wall. And
Yeah.
he has a talented team, like you got to watch out, especially when that team's at home. And
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, South Carolina gave up a fight. Um,
Yeah, Sandstorm was pumping throughout the game for sure. So they were ready.
yeah,
They were ready.
Yeah, and I think Dylan Stewart was probably the healthiest he's been. I think kind of from what the reporters were talking about, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of their other players were it was probably the healthiest they've been all year. I think they were pretty limited on injuries, maybe one offensive lineman.
Yeah.
And, yeah, they finally put it together, and they were ranked 11 going into the year, so they got a talented
Mm-hmm.
roster, especially with Lenore Sellers. And gosh, man, it was hard to take him down.
He's a stud, dude. That was one of my other point. It seemed like how many times did they have that dude wrapped up by the legs, but he would just shake somebody off and then go for 10,
Yeah,
12, whatever yards. I think he ran for like 67 yards, but it seemed like more.
yeah,
It seemed like every time we were trying to get him and trying to stop him, he's tough, dude. He's a stud. That other Nick Harbor, that guy that they threw the long touchdown to,
yeah.
that dude's a freak. So they got some players. There's no doubt.
Yeah, and he was 18 of 32, 222 yards, and like you said, 67. He's close to 300
Uh-huh.
total yards. The
Yeah.
difference I would say in the game is the 2 turnovers. I mean, that's what kept Alabama in the game. Obviously, early on, you had the
That
pick
was
six.
it. Yeah.
You know, personally, I
Looking
tried
good.
out.
Yeah. Looking good early.
Yeah, I mean they held us in check, and you know they were giving our offensive line fits, and Ty wasn't on the mark. I think he was trying to force too many throws. I don't know if
uh,
the Heisman talk can kind of get in your head.
yeah.
And we had some receivers kind of open. He
Hmm.
didn't miss any wide open throws. He was kind of, he
Maybe
was trying to
one that I
make.
can, yeah, maybe one bad one to Jeremy Bernard that I can remember throughout the game. Other than that, nothing absurd. But
And
yeah,
it
like I said,
happened.
not as smooth.
And
Yeah.
he's been hitting them left and right all, in this 4 game
Hmm.
stretch. And, you're on the road, hostile environment. Like you said, South Carolina, it's one of the craziest places to play.
Hmm.
Loud environment. He was just missing by just a hair. And,
Yeah.
pick six, obviously early in the game held us in. It was 22, eventually it was
Hmm.
22 to 14. if you didn't have that pick six, man, I mean, we were struggling. Those were our only 7 points for a
No,
while till the end of the
it
second.
was felt very, yeah, desperation time came, and then you got that muff punt late in the game. I got into the surrender cobra after that. I was like, what else can happen? That would happen at the worst possible time. But that's been the thing, like you and me already talked about. This Alabama team, they do what they got to do when they got to do it. And that was the main difference in this year and last year. Last year, I felt like, it come down to crunch time. Defense had to make a play or just had to do something to get something going. And maybe the defense would, but, or Jalen Milroe led offense, we didn't have confidence that they'd be able to go down the field and score. But with Ty Simpson, you got that kind of swagger that we're going to do something when the time comes.
Exactly. Yeah, and that kind of brings me to a point. Like, obviously, the two turnovers, the pick six and the fumble, were like super crucial in us getting the victory. But also,
Mm-hmm.
even when our offense did not have the best day and the defense was holding through, it was right at the end of the second half. We had a great drive to go downfield and get that touchdown
Yeah,
to take the lead. Going
yeah,
into the half, and then
that was big.
also second half, most of the time our offense kind of stalled, but you get to the end of the game and then Ty Simpson says, "All right,
Mm-hmm.
we got to make a drive here." And he went down, scored the
Yep.
touchdown to Jeremy Bernard. Um, and then ultimately, with the fumble, get the ball back, and Jerm takes it in
Mm-hmm.
once again, two touchdowns within 3 minutes. So,
Yeah,
like you said, when crunch time came, the defense came through and the offense came through. Even when, you know,
yeah,
throughout the year, the offenses played great, but even when they didn't have their best game, whenever the 2-minute drill, I guess you could say, they came through. And that's great to see, is
yeah.
that in a gritty game when you're not playing your best, are you going to come out with the victory?
Mm-hmm.
And man, it was just great to see. Um,
No,
coming through in a tight one when you probably shouldn't have won that game, but you just made just enough plays to come through.
yeah. I made every effort not to win that game. And the thing I thought was crazy when I was looking back at the stats, um, I feel like it was way more lopsided than this, but what Alabama has done so good this year is time of possession. We hold on to that ball and drive it down the field and score and milk the clock, usually throughout the game, and especially when it gets down to the wire. South Carolina had the edge 32 and a half minutes to our 27 and a half, roughly, which
Mm,
I thought it was way more lopsided. That I can't tell you how many times did it look like Alabama went out there and went 3 and out in the blink of an eye. But
yeah.
it was kind of deceiving, that stat, to me. But it felt more like South Carolina played our type of game in that aspect of it. I thought
Yeah.
that they sustained drives
Yeah.
very well, which
Probably more
that was
consistently.
tough. Yeah.
I think those few drives that we did end up scoring, I think we probably bled a lot of clock on those few
Hmm.
touchdown drives that we had. So that probably kind of is where that stat kind of. But I agree with you. I think South Carolina was a little more
Hmm.
consistent with.
Throughout the game, yeah, I'd say if you looked at it first quarter to third quarter, or maybe late, they had to have had the edge
Yeah.
throughout. I mean, there's no doubt that they sustained drives and Alabama didn't. But I was surprised that, like I said, when all came said and done, that we had the ball for the amount of time we did. But yeah, hats off to them for they did all they could.
Yeah. And penalty battle, we 52 yards penalties off six penalties.
Hmm.
They had 5 penalties for 40 yards. Nothing crazy there. I mean,
Wasn't that bad?
it was
Yeah.
kind of wild. All of last season, DeBoer didn't have a
Hmm.
single game where we won the penalty battle, I guess you could say. And then start of this year, it wasn't the same either. But I think the past 3 or 4 games, we've actually won the penalty battle. But this game we lost it. But I mean, it was not too bad on penalties.
Yeah.
That wasn't
Not
too
astronomical. Yeah.
yeah.
You got to be clean, which they've done.
Yeah, but turnovers, both teams had 2 turnovers. We lost 2 fumbles, but
Hmm.
um, I mean, again, obviously
We had
one
the
of their
sack
turnovers went
fumble.
for 6.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, but
The sack fumble, and then our two at the second one for Alabama could not have been more timely. I mean, Deontay Lawson goes in there and punches that ball out. Tim Keeney doesn't even realize he's laying on the ball, but
yeah,
that
just like
was
he's like, grab the ball, grab.
yeah. Without that, almost dead in the water. But yeah, that was very timely and great opportunity for them to do that.
Yeah, who do you think? Kind of our last closing part on this. Who was your like most standout player of the game?
Man, I had a note about that. I wish with this is what I also found surprising. Rushing, we didn't have a ball carrier, running back, Ty Simpson, anybody over 30 yards.
Uh-huh.
That's something that stinks. It's got to change. Like I mean, we got to run the ball better. Same with receiving, not a receiver over 80, which isn't terrible. But Jeremy Bernard scoring 2 touchdowns in the last 3 minutes of the game. I
Yeah,
mean, that dude, he's been coming in clutch all along. I mean, he caught the pass to score the touchdown, and then they do the wildcat play to where like we're kind of confused whether it was trying to get into a field goal setup situation, which I'm very thankful that it wasn't. I really didn't want to see us try to kick a field goal in that
yeah,
situation, especially over 40 yards. We know how it's been going. But and then him just to take that snap and just to be the dude and then run it in like that. Yeah, he's got to be the key player of that game, especially
so
in
clutch.
that clutch time, which the game was like biting, scratching, clawing just to get a touchdown, just to get a field goal the whole game. Like you had to have that one, and that was special. That was for
Yeah,
me. He was that dude. Yeah.
I agree with you there. I'll just add same side of the ball, Ryan Williams. I think man coming down with 7 catches for 72 yards. Obviously I
Yeah.
got in the end zone, but I mean,
Hmm.
it's just great
With
to see.
his struggles. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's just great to see him go out there like last weekend. He made all those acrobatic catches and then followed up with a 7 reception, 72-yard outing is great to see. He means very
Hmm.
consistent. He's getting open, getting those tough yards for us to get first downs. So
Yeah.
that's kind of
Could have
my
had another big one that he kind of had a difficult catch, kind of like
yeah.
trying to contort his body and end up dropping it, but still it was they got him in there. It seemed like there was other times where like he wasn't even in the offensive game plan, but I like to see it. That dude's electric. You have to give him targets, so that was good to see.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna show
Mhm.
pull up the schedule real quick.
Yeah, Alabama's remaining schedule.
Sorry for the delay. All right, can you see it?
Hmm.
All right. So obviously we got 4 games left, man. I mean, dude, after Florida State, if you would have told me that Alabama was gonna have one loss on the year, and essentially saying they were gonna go undefeated the rest of the way, I would have probably called you crazy. So man, it's awesome
Yeah,
that we're in the spot that we're in. We're in a better
yeah,
spot than we were last year.
no doubt,
So to escape that
no doubt.
victory is amazing. Going into the bye week finally after 5 consecutive SEC wins is amazing. But yeah, you got
Much
LSU
needed.
just fired their coach, Brian Kelly. It sounded kind of some crazy
Yeah,
breaking news
yeah.
we'll talk
Breaking
about in the
news.
next
Yeah.
episode. But
Hmm.
so I will be at that game. I will be in attendance there. So but feel like we're
Yeah.
gonna be rocking for that, man. Then you got Oklahoma. Thankfully, both of those games are at home. And then you got Eastern
That's what I was
Illinois.
about to say. If either one of those were away, that could potentially be another tough one. Both of them
Yeah.
tough environments, especially if we had to travel to Oklahoma. But both those being at home, I feel great about those. I mean LSU, they're more on the ropes. You don't know. It's going to be week to week with them. What you see. I mean, they still got athletes. They still got dudes. But obviously, you feel like Alabama should have that edge. And then
Yeah.
Oklahoma, they're gonna be one of the ones. They're gonna be fighting for their lives. I mean, especially after the Ole Miss loss. I mean, that's. I don't think that's gonna be an easy out. I mean, they got some players, and then going in the Eastern Illinois. I mean, that maybe should be. Don't even have to see Ty Simpson. Maybe
Yeah.
for a drive or a half or whatever the situation is.
Yeah.
And then you go into the haunted Jordan Hare Stadium. Which is they thrive off Alabama rolling, and then them being what they are this year, and just flip. I mean, I wouldn't say flip a coin, but
I mean,
just count all the records, count the rankings out. I mean, like it does not matter in that one. Alabama
I
has
mean,
to show up, or
Eric,
it will be tough.
our past 2 visits to Jordan Hare, man. I mean, it was a few years ago, Bryce Young, you had the overtime thriller, 4 overtimes, and then the past
Mm-hmm.
visit, obviously the historic Gravedigger. So I mean,
And the
dude,
Gravedigger, yeah.
fitness. And both of the, I mean, even the 4 overtimes, we had to make that. Bryce had to make that clutch touchdown to get into overtime. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, man, and then both. I guess the point there is both of those Auburn teams were not great. So this is
No.
kind of the
This
same
one
where they're at
scares me
now.
even more because this Auburn team scares me even more because their record does not reflect,
Yep.
I feel like, how good they can be. I feel like their defense is nasty. So
Yeah.
when you're kind of a not very good team with your back against the wall and almost nothing to lose, and you have a good defense, I don't like it. I mean that's scary to me.
Yeah, man. Um, yeah, and another thing, obviously they got the win over Arkansas, and I think probably putting in a backup quarterback
Yeah.
have jolted that. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, that could literally change everything. Um,
Hmm.
I probably see them being 6-5. I know they've got a couple games. They got Kentucky. They got a layup, and then they got Vandy as well. So at worst, I kind of see them at
Yeah.
6-5. If not, if they pull the upset over Vandy, they might be 7-4, trying to win 8 games. So I mean that, yeah, it's going to be. You can't ever count that out. But if you win LSU, you win Oklahoma. Obviously, you're going to win Eastern Illinois. If we're going into that Auburn game with one loss, at the very least, we can feel comfortable about a playoff appearance. So that's
Mm.
that's the bright side going into that.
What do
You
you
want to get to
what do
these
you
next
think
4.
about what do you think about Hugh Freeze? I kind of put him in the same boat as I thought Brian Kelly was.
Yeah,
Um, are they hanging on until the end, or is it going to
and
be an in-season
yeah,
fire situation? I don't know.
I think they'll probably, unless they lose to Kentucky this weekend, that's a for sure firing. Um,
Hmm.
but if they beat Kentucky, I mean, if they go into the Alabama game 6-5 and they beat us somehow, maybe
Save his job. Yeah, no
that would save his job.
doubt. Yeah,
I think it'll probably come down to the Iron Bowl, to be honest with you. Unless they lose to Kentucky, then he's
yeah.
fine. But I think
They might. Yeah, they might wait and be like, let's
even
see how this plays
if
out.
they upset Vanderbilt, but then they lose to us and finish 7-5, I don't think that's going to be quite enough. Even though Vanderbilt's a great football team, I just feel
Hmm.
like they're probably going to have to go 7-5, and one of those wins is going to have to be Alabama. So I think they're going to give it to the end of the year, basically give him the Alabama game, assuming he doesn't get fired before that,
Yeah,
and then yeah, so that's kind of my predicament on that.
I
But
could
yeah,
agree. I could agree. Yeah. Hmm.
but that's it for the Tide. Gosh, feeling great after that
Mm.
victory, man. Gritty win. This team
No, that was.
seems like they're on a different path. I mean, you just can't ask for anything better. 5 straight SEC games for them being ranked, and you know, after that
Yeah.
opening week 1 loss, I mean, they're just that really shook them. And man, this could be one of the greatest stories in Alabama
Hmm.
history, just especially like where things started out and where they are now, where they could be.
Yeah. The last thing for me too on Alabama is the South Carolina game. That's the ones you got to have. I mean, that's one that they easily could have slipped up and look a lot worse, and it'd be a bad loss going in to try to get in the playoff. And they did what they had to do when they had to do it. So I mean, that was the bottom line. Like I said, this team's different. They can show that they're battle tested. I think that's going to serve them well going into the playoffs. So,
Yeah, man. Well, roll tide. That's it
mhm.
for
Roll
this
Tide. Yeah.
episode about Alabama, South Carolina. Watch our other episode. It's going to be linked in here. We're going to be breaking down some other games.